Starting out some REVOLT comparison testing here in the Colorado mountains. And we're going to get started. We're running a split system, our dual output stator prototype here on our Can-Am Maverick at 2014. We've got one REVOLT regulator here for one output, and we're measuring temperature on top of the regulator housing with our thermocouple. And we have our comparison regulator here. This thing normally runs 2 revolts down there, but we are running our comparisons up here that'll just be mounted here so we can swap them easily. So we're starting with the this is the SH847, if you can see it there, Shindingen, their largest case series regulator. This is typically the coolest running comparison regulator available OEM. So that's going to be our start. And let's come in here, take a look at our setup. I'll be taking some temperature measurements every couple minutes, and we'll put them together on video here so you can see. So here's what we're starting with. Our thermocouples aren't exact, but number one is our REVOLT 26 degrees C, and we're comparing it to 29.9 C. Both of these are room temperature ready to go. All right, so we're gonna get started driving, have some fun, and we'll keep taking temperature measurements. We'll do a bunch of different comparisons here. Here we go. All right, here's a couple of minutes of idling. 26 degrees on the REVOLT, 31 on the Shindingen series. So we're already seeing a split. All right, let's get started driving. All right, 5 minutes of driving. Still 29.5 on the REVOLT and 42.1 on the SH847. Keep going. All right, 5 more minutes. We're at 31.5 on the REVOLT, 46.6 on the Shindingen. All right, here's another 10 minutes or so. We're at 34.6 on the REVOLT, 54.5 on the Shindingen series. So we're seeing a good 20-degree split right now, and that'll keep going. All right, we had a good test with the Shindingen series, over a 20-degree difference. So now we're moving on to a Polaris. This is an OEM Polaris Razor regulator. So this would be used on Razors and Sportsmans. So it's their large regulator used with the 650 watt charging system. Okay, so we've got it plugged in over here. We're still running our same REVOLT over on this side, and our REVOLT's already a little warm. So we're at 36.3 C on the REVOLT, and we're starting at 28.1 C on the Polaris. All right, let's get started driving and we'll see what happens. All right, within a couple minutes, REVOLT stable at 37, and we've already passed the temperature, 39 on the Polaris regulator. That's within about 3-4 minutes of driving. So I expect this one will get pretty hot pretty fast. Let's watch. All right, we're up to 38 on the REVOLT and 47.1 currently on the Polaris regulator. All right, currently still stable around 39 degrees on the REVOLT. This is pretty much its stabilized temperature in normal use. And we're currently at 52.3 on the Polaris reg. And let's keep driving. All right, currently 42.5 on the REVOLT and 56.6 on the Polaris. Pretty good temperature split. And I think we'll move on to a new regulator. All right, now we're comparing to our typical MOSFET, Shindingen MOSFET regulator that's used on all sorts of OEM bikes, or as an OEM on all sorts of bikes and ATVs. So we still have our REVOLT at about 40 degrees, still hot from normal use, and we're at outside temp or 29 C on the Shindingen MOSFETs. Let's take a look. We have it mounted here with our thermocouple, ready to go. And we're using our same REVOLT back here. One thing I want to point out, the REVOLT is just warm to the touch. So we're measuring right at the heatsink where the electronics are. It does get just barely warm to the touch, so I can feel it, but it is not hot in any means. The other regulators are so hot, I cannot leave my hand on them. So we're measuring right at the heatsink, and they are much hotter out here at the fins where you would actually touch it with your hand. So keep that in mind. We're giving you actual temperature at the electronics. If we were measuring out here at the heatsink, there would be a much bigger temperature split. But this is a great way to do comparison testing. So let's keep taking a look. All right, about 40 degrees and about 30 degrees. So let's see how fast this one gets up to temp. Here we go. All right, less than 5 minutes of driving. We're still 40 degrees stable on the REVOLT, and we've hit 40, right here, 44, 45 on the Shin-Engine MOSFET. So very quickly eclipsing REVOLT temperature within a few minutes. Let's keep going and see what happens. All right, another 5 minutes of driving. 42 degrees on the REVOLT and 55.9 on the Shin-Engine MOSFET. So I'm seeing a good split here, and we'll keep going a little bit and do another measurement. All right, we're currently at 41.6 on the REVOLT and 59.1 on the Shin-Engine MOSFET. So pretty good difference on these, almost 20 degrees. All right, so for a final test, I plugged in our second REVOLT and have our thermocouple on this one. So we got a REVOLT there. We have our other one we've been using all day over there. And see where we're at. We're at 39 degrees Celsius on the one we've been using all day. And like I said, it's a hot day out. We're at ambient temp outside 33 on our other one. So we're gonna just do some temperature testing using 2 REVOLTs. We'll check in on them a couple times just to see that they stay stable and cool. Right on. All right, 10 minutes of driving with 2 REVOLTs. We're still at 41 degrees on our one we've been using all day, and we're at 38.9 on the other, coming up to 10. And it's staying stable, looking good. All right, and another 10 minutes. Here's the REVOLT temps. We're at 44 degrees and 42 degrees Celsius. So about at our stabilized temperatures for REVOLT. Both are looking good. We're sitting here charging both of our batteries well at idle, 14.3 volts. That's with our light bar and radio on, so we're doing really good. So that's what you get with REVOLT. Really cool.